think I lied to you.
Doesn't matter, because...
We got a countdown on everything.
First of all, we have Abathar, who's not going to be a first ban here. And we've seen Abathar banned by Method now twice, so now they have an opportunity to ban something else. And now the question, do they try to go for Chromie early on, even though the Zealots will have first pick? Because let's not forget, Zealots could also try and aim for Chromie here. She's been highly contested on Tumo the Spider Queen, so that's definitely one of the heroes to have an eye on in the early game. But right now, Method leaning more towards Uther, and he's been a huge enabler here. So we have a lot of heroes to watch out for. Uther, we have Tyrael now in the reworked version, which has a huge priority. We see a lot of Gul'dan, a lot of Chromie on the map, very early on in draft priority. And there's always, of course, the staple of Greymane that you can use as well, just because of that flexibility that he gives with wave clear, with potential to go for blow-up compositions in the early draft. So yeah, those are the heroes that we should probably watch out the most at the beginning of the draft, but then Malthael later on for that bottom lane is another big tool that European teams have been oftentimes banning out on the second ban or choosing.
I mean, we have 4 Chromie players alone in this map. We have Chris, we have ADRD, who has unorthodox builds, but still plays it. We have Schwimpy, and then we have Nick. So this is definitely a huge chance that we'll have that Chromie come in.
Tracer as well. This is another Tracer map. So this is something that really flies around those teams' heads right now, where they have to really think, okay, what's the priority? What kind of draft do we want to go for? And early on, we have Zealots with something that worked extremely well against Fnatic, but hasn't really given them success today. They go for the first pick against Hanzo. Now the big question, how is Method going to open this up? Is it going to be a Tracer composition? Is it going to be an early Chromie? Do they start with Tyrael again, maybe even with Greymane? And they go for the Tracer composition. Malfurion and Tracer right off the bat, once again going for the duo.
Tracer, Malfurion once again. Draft still open-ended for that late stage to get that Chromie. Chromie with Hanzo, a little bit off. I probably wouldn't run those two together for the Zealots. It'd be a little bit too difficult. You'll need a strong front line, and you'll kind of rely on each other to get the pokes in. So it's only going to be an option for Method, in my opinion. Zealots, will they move into Uther and Tyrael, though? That's been a mainstay now for the last couple of drafts for most of our teams, and it is available. Tyrael missing out on the wave clear, though, could be a difficulty.
Yeah, it would amaze me a little bit if they went into Tyrael and Uther, since Uther is banned already. But
Good call.
I'll let you go in the last draft, but on this one, I'm calling it out. But yes, they go for Tyrael and they go for Tacita. So I feel it's basically following the thought process that you had.
Yeah.
Are they going to bring in, first of all, Tyrael with the shields? A, it works against Tracer, and B, do they bring another hero that helps Hanzo to stay alive? Uther was banned, but they basically do what you wanted them to do, but they substituted with Tacita here for a double support composition.
Tacita getting that popularity boost last week with North America playing him pretty often. Europe then followed suit, actually. Hanzo and Tacita being together wound up being a pretty deadly combo, keeping him alive, getting the life stealed up. Pretty solid there. Diablo for Method is being covered as a ban. Diablo Tyrael together? That sounds actually kind of scary.
I feel it sounds weird.
Diablo Tyrael, getting the engage that you want, you get or have Tyrael to follow up into it and give the shields. Because Diablo, whenever he gets the engage, if he doesn't get the kill, his issue is being able to retreat, right? Tyrael makes it easier for him with Smite and the shield.
I would not ban Diablo out. I feel if they would pick Diablo, you could body them in the early game, because they lack so much wave clear with that setup.
True.
Tyrael, Diablo, yes, Hanzo and Tasta have some, but I think you could exploit that. I like the ban on Malthael a lot more, and as I said earlier, Malthael is a really popular second ban, and we have seen him in this series now twice already, and for good reason. Diablo has a lot of synergies with heroes that we have in this draft. I'm not trying to deny that, because we've seen the Hanzo and Diablo comp already, and it was played by Zealots, and Diablo is also good on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I just think you can really punish it if it's picked, and I don't really see the synergy with Tyrael and Diablo that too much. I mean, yeah, if you layer the Apocalypse, can force the fight in that area, have the Sanctification, but as soon as you use APOC, everybody's trying to get away from it anyways.
Sure. So. All right, well, Malthael is banned, Chromie banned. We were talking about the strengths of Chromie and how well it would be good here with the Tracer. In fact, we saw that display last time on Dragonshire. So moving on to Musadakwi, we will not have the Chromie.
Yeah.
Are we going to get another major? Could we get Gul'dan?
We could definitely see Gul'dan.
Yeah.
I am curious about the potential solo lane. I want to see if Blaze is being played once more. They actually picked Diablo. Okay, so that is... There's Gul'dan. Expected that already, but now Diablo also being played. So I like this actually a lot more. There's using Overpower into roots. Can bully target around. It actually looks really nice for them. I want to know if Zealots... We have seen in one of the previous games on Infernal Shrines a Diablo answered by Tychus, and that was actually really cool because it worked for them very well. And now I'm wondering if the Zealots could try and use that to their advantage and simply get the bigger they are with Tychus and use him here. Granted, you don't get the same amount of value out of Odin that you get out of Infernal Shrines, but you can siege up again with Web Weavers and also defend against Web Weavers a lot better if you have Odin available. So I think it would definitely be at least an option for Zealots. Let's put it like this.
They could play it. The issue is that they need a second support now, and that would put Tyrael as their main tank. So let's see if they're willing to risk that or if they're going to go for another warrior instead. Let's find out.
To be fair, Tyrael has been played in the main tank position in nearly every time we've seen him.
That's true. Arthas Rhaegar comes in. And there it is. So final pickup here for Method. Diablo Gul'dan, Malfurion Tracer. Looking for your offlaner. We actually had Dahaka a couple times by Method on this map.
Yeah, I would also not blame them if they go into Blaze again. Blaze is great. They have Sonya available even. They can't go into Dahaka.
Then you mentioned Blaze, I want that for more wave clear.
Yeah, I feel Blaze is working really well right now on a lot of maps. And I think he could really work with this particular setup here now as well. Especially because of the wave clear aspect, of course.
Leo.
Leo back to business. Also not bad. Against Arthas, works out and you get the trap. If you get any of these guys with a quick entomb, especially...
At 20.
Yeah, I mean... You don't play for the 20, but once you hit it, it's of course perfect because nobody can escape you anymore. So if you get Hanzo in there, then he's just dead. Yep,
Hanzo, even the Rhaegar. Lock them down, prevent ancestor healing. So as we go into Tomb of the Spider Queen, Method has set up their draft to excel in wave clear, and excel they do, with the Gul'dan and Leo being able to clear those out pretty well. Over on the other side, Hanzo once again for Zealots.
Yep. Especially with the silence on the Entomb, that's really tricky because when you get a Rhaegar before that, he can always Ancestral himself. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
I'm sorry, but like, support hate.
It's not even funny. Like,
no, it's actually sad.
You actually wound up for that too, because I heard you do the "oh, I want to talk" like sound. I knew that was gonna happen. I'm like, okay, so what's he gonna talk about? Good job, Calder. I'm so proud.
Okay, it's by far the dumbest joke that I made today.
Can we go to game 3, please?
I have more dumb jokes. Like, don't get me wrong, but again, like we have a low standard in Germany, so where I come from, that's funny. So
that joke is more than a year old, though.
You can't say wolf, so shush.
All right, in we go into game number 3. We'll watch Method as they take on Zealots. No wolves available here for Zealots, but we'll see what happens.
I like it.
There you go.
2-0 as we have Method going up against Zealots for the 3rd time. The blue team is in lead and Shrimpy again on Tracer. Curson for the 2nd time now on Malfurion. We have Arcana on the bot lane on Leoric. Diablo played by Ethereal Angel and Nick on Gul'dan.
On the right side in the red, the Zealots. Shad playing Rhaegar, Chris on Hanzo, Mopsiel playing Tyrael, Zarmony on Arthas, and ADRD on Tassadar.
Okay, this is the last chance for the Zealots here. Again, they have the double support Hanzo composition, this time even with Tyrael on top of that. And yeah, let's see if that works out for them. It definitely worked against Fnatic. Does it also work against Method? Also with the extra shields here. Still a chance for them to pull it off.
Should be already working on some harassment. Gonna be watching ADRD here. If he uses Dimensional Shift and comes back into a fight, Tracer can zip in and kill him pretty quickly. Ooh, a bit of a lag here as we get set up. Be going in there pretty soon here, reconnecting, so no big deal. But yes, Tracer can put a lot of pressure on that Tassadar. Remember, he has a low health pool now, has been nerfed pretty aggressively. If he ever uses Dimensional Shift, he has to be careful, because Tracer getting on top of him, bringing in that melee or even a pulse bomb, instantly dead.
Yeah, players are just like trash talking a little bit. I was for a second confused you were serious about that, but that seems to be pretty trolly what they have there. But yeah, so right now we don't have too much just yet. When we look at the talents, we have still a bit of a glimpse on that, but there's nothing really out of the ordinary that we have so far. The big tool, of course, with Tyrael in particular, is still the shield. So I feel it feels a bit overkill to have the double support and the Tyrael now, now that the shields are actually increased. If you can't survive with that setup, then you can't survive with any setup. So the damage output on their end, that's what I'm curious about. With Archon, you can deliver. That's definitely a tool that they have. But they are really hinging a lot of these strategies on the ability of Hanzo to drop the target.
Definitely going to be nullified a little bit there. Especially the Tracer is with that Pulse Bomb and all the shields coming in. But they've done it in the past. It's just a matter of how much aggression comes in from Method. If Diablo is able to get on that Hanzo, especially interrupting him during a natural agility, the comp will just crumble completely if Hanzo's locked into a wall. So that is going to be the major appeal here for Method. Will they be able to stop that from happening, though? Zealots. Hanzo has to be completely careful.
I like Method's composition a lot more than I like what's currently being run by the opponent. So I think with the tools on 10 in particular, if they have an opportunity to use that, that will be quite scary. And I mean, we are going to find out if that's going to be enough. The Zealots have faith in the composition that they used against Fnatic very successfully. And we're going to find out now if that faith is justified.
Been seeing Tracer more and more in EU, just being in the off lane, whether it's with a support or with a Leoric in this case, hoping to bully out their opponents, but also to draw attention towards that area, which allows for Gul'dan to be by himself and clearing up. If Zealots offset that by putting more than 3 people against Nick, Tracer will step forward and maybe even rotate in for a kill. So interesting use of the hero.
And, well, for now, I mean, in the early game here, ideally, of course, you want to set up a rotation that is able to just clear the waves a little bit faster, that is starting to be aggressive, pressures the opponent back, and gives you control of the turn-in spots. But so far, it's actually a pretty slow one between the two teams. Nobody's going out too far. Gul'dan is playing it fairly safe. And I think especially with Method, they're also going to wait before they make heavy engagements for Diablo to get a couple of additional souls that he can capitalize even better on those globes.
Charging 2 things, Diablo Souls and Tracer's Pulse Bomb. And ADRD's helpful down here, helping clear the lane with Zarmony. The moment he retreated though, we had the fight. A Thorough goes in for an engage, just throws him back, and they turn their attention to Zarmony. That's actually could be another turret here if they continue to keep pushing in, with 2 being on the top side. Yes, they keep going in, Pulse Bomb comes out, ADRD shields himself to survive.
Yeah, Zarmony on the chase here at the bot lane. I mean, they don't get the... Oh, nice move by Shrimpy. I was just talking about the lockdown that they are trying to get here, but that was actually really well done by Shrimpy, anticipating the Howling Blast already and then just dashing to the side. Good job by him.
Almost seemed like it was on the last frame, too, just barely missing out. You can actually see it go in slow motion. Okay, so Gul'dan soaking up the experience in the top. 32-17. Zealots, however, have done a good job of turning in a few gems already. 18 have been dropped off. They're starting up the night camp push that we've been seeing lately. It seems to be happening around 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This one's a little bit delayed compared to normal, but still, they're grabbing him.
Yeah, Tears in the top lane being bullied quite heavily by Tracer now, starting to moving in several times for extra damage, and it really creates the space that Method needs to get the turn in, or at least get heavily around it. Oh, nice! Into the roots! That's exactly what we've been mentioning a bit earlier, but it's not enough to take down Mopsio. Dominating, slapping targets straight into the roots. Great play and synergy here by Ethereal and Curson. Very dangerous for Mopsio, but not quite dropping him.
Just barely surviving. Shad might be the next target, though. There's a root into a corruption combo. The shield will keep Shad here as well as he heals. The Zealots okay with that trade-off, as they'll be able to now group up and push in with the night camp. Shouldn't be being zolled down by Tassadar, actually, with that level 1 picked up. That quest coming in here. Good
push in the mid lane now by Zealots. 4-man using the aura to their advantage and doing a great job with it. Really liking the way they're utilizing this camp.
Thorough has no fear. That's the 3rd time he tried charging on Tassadar. Dimensional Shift will keep him alive, but showing that he is willing to force fights if he needs to.
No, that was a really cool move by Zealots. They get the entire wall out of the camp, so that was awesome. Now, on the other hand, they find themselves in a spot where they still attempt to turn in. They get the full turn in. Red Web Weavers are going to be descending first, so nice pressure. They're doing well in the early game here, better than expected. Method already answering in kind at the bot lane, dropping another tower and hitting the early level 7. But it's all of a question of how much the Zealots can do now with this first wave.
Should be having to use recall here. He's getting 7 for his team. Leo should be able to help out with the clear with a Thorough anchoring. He can be pretty aggressive too, especially if should be backing him up. I'm actually more curious about how much damage will be done in the middle with that wall already being broken down. Method, realizing it's a difficult issue for them, come back to defend.
Yeah, and as they are starting to lose the fountain, it's of course another retreat point that they are losing here. The Zealots already slightly ahead in experience, but up to the top, Gul'dan is doing his thing, but immediately just 3 heroes in the mid lane trying to do what they can to drop the fort, and it is very likely that they're going to get it. The Web Weaver is still at 50% HP, down to the bottom of the map. Leoric and Arthurs are locked into a one-on-one battle, and this fort is toast. It's down already. Chris gets hit by corruption as Gul'dan is finally joining up, able to defend the top lane, but still, that was a good early start for the Zealots here. I'm actually impressed. I didn't think they would be able to make this much of a headway here, especially with Method getting the early 45 gems turned in. It looked very much as if they would walk away with the first objective.
Zealots gotta feel happy too. With them about to hit level 9, they're a level away from 10. Method has a chance here to turn in now if they would like to offset the experience lead that has gone in favor of Zealots, but they are on a timer. If Zealots get to about 9.5 experience, that means they'll get 10 for the defense, and Method will have to wait it out, and it looks like they're actually waiting.
I really like these engages with Aethero and Curson. They do really well around the combo, and oftentimes the one problem they have is that there's not enough damage around, but once the team starts to move more as a 5-man, later on in the game, that is going to be extremely scary. And Aethero just has absolutely no respect here, and he shouldn't have. He has a huge hit point pool thanks to the souls that he already stacked. There's always globes around that he can capitalize on, and of course Curson also has his back here. So I'm really enjoying the way that he engages into these fights. The problem is that Zealots are just doing so well with the experience lead that they have. They don't have enough gems yet to get a full turn in, but they will soon, and that should be a second turn-in with level 10. And the question just remains, is Method going to be able to answer in kind with their own heroic ability? Because they are currently splitting out on all 3 lanes, trying to make sure that they are not falling too far behind in XP.
While Diablo and Malfurion have that strong combo, I am a bit worried, though, with the shields that are available for Zealots. Tassadar, Tyrael, Rhaegar at 13, Sanctification. The combo may come off, but will they be able to get the kills? Is the damage enough between Gul'dan and Tracer to secure them? We'll find out, but that's the struggle that we're watching.
I think it's going to be enough, because so far we didn't really have all of them together. And let's keep in mind, we also have, we have Horrify too.
True.
So once you can use Horrify, you should be able to get your kill. And especially if you are able to kill Hanzo. If that ever happens, the Zealots just don't have the damage output anymore. You have, I mean, everybody on that setup has some form of damage, but it's not really that bursty, okay, I'm gonna get the kill right now damage. So curious to see how that looks now that we have 10s in play and Horrify is an option.
Big Entomb coming in. Gonna be the APOC follow-up to Intel Pulse Bomb, focusing down the target. Rhaegar's low, he gets Horrified, and he falls. Zarmony, the next target as Arcaner comes in for the damage. Sanctification being used, Diablo trying to engage. Will he get out of the fight? Yes, he does. Arcaner still looking at Hanzo, but Hanzo flips over a wall and gets out.
Malfurion falls here, so great initial engage. The double Entomb into the APOC was great. But then they lose out on Malfurion, so it was really well coordinated at the start, but then those shields came into play and kept the rest of them alive. Could have been worse if they didn't kill Rhaegar, and an Ancestral would have saved the day here for the Zealots. But the Web Weavers are now turning for the Method, so they will start pushing through the lanes. And yeah, the question just remains how much they can do here later on. But you could already see the potential on both sides. This long sustained the survivability of Zealots against this combo attempt of Method and their ability to drop a target.
Something of note, we still don't have a heroic choice for the Tassadar. It's going to be a Force Wall, actually. And the grab. Even less damage here, but more control for ADRD.
Yeah. Haven't seen Force Wall in some time. Most of the Tassadar plays so far have been very heavily around Archon, trying to deliver some extra damage. The one aspect that's also going to be important is catching against Zarmony. Can't really do too much with that, but put him into an awkward... Oh, they actually go straight in again and try to grab him here. Horrify being used. And Aethero darts in too, but the Ancestral comes out and saves him. It was a bit late on the move, but they still try to make it and push them back for now. ADRD even retreating. It's running out of mana here. They're sacrificing a lot of the HP up at the top and bot lane on those forts. They might actually lose both of them.
Yeah, this one's definitely going to take some damage. The bottom one is for sure going down. There it goes. The top one.
Massive amount of value.
Yeah, they get 1 fort, 2 fort, and it looks like the third actually got picked off on the top side. So yes, 3 forts total. It's like a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah, welcome to Value City. This is all 3.
All 3. Just
3
down.
forts gone, and they heavily pushed that in. They're also going to hit the 13. Tassadar's a bit far out, but I don't think it's going to be an issue for him.
And they have another turn in too with that 13.
Yeah, that's true.
Arcaner goes in for the Entomb. It does lock down Tassadar. Dimensional shift here to stay alive. Still continues to get poked here. Corruption being used as Swifty kites back.
Yeah, so they're kiting back here. They couldn't really catch him. And Arcana is slightly in trouble. He has 25 gems. That would be annoying to lose that. And, well, they get the gems, but Leoric is dead. So they collect the gems with Curson. Shrimpy trying to go in for the counter kill, but he drops his ult a bit too fast and doesn't hit home. And therefore the Zealots walk away with 5 heroes. 13 versus 13 right now. But we are also starting to close in a bit more on Nick completing the Echoed Corruption. Once that talent is hidden, he has 16 as well. The damage output that we are seeing on Gul'dan is going to increase by a lot, and that will make the life of the Zealots a lot harder.
Arcaner is back. Method make a play to grab the Giants, realizing Zealots want to turn in. This will help them offset that bottom lane, and they can focus their attention on top. They can save their fort here if they're able to rotate fast enough. Zealots doing their best, though, to make sure that they don't rotate fast enough. Already pushing the top wave to make sure the web weavers get down.
Yeah, bottom lane has to be defended, and that's where they're currently focusing most of their attention. Zealots at this. Yari already pushing out, web weavers on the way, but there's experience to be caught up to the top that they're getting quite easily. And still, Aethero just anchoring everything here, making sure that any kind of rotation that Zealots move to the top lane would be immediately encountered. Even a bit of a go for Arthas here. Shrimpy moving very far into this one. Still able to get it away because Hanzo's arrow missed. But if that thing hits home, then we are looking at a dead Tracer.
Well, Tracer's alive now. Force Wall to lock her in. Gonna be able to dash out just barely. Mopsio goes in for the engage, but Thuro says no thank you. Puts him against a wall. There goes the Pulse Bomb. Ancestor healing in from Shat to keep him alive. And finally, Zealots, after a back and forth between Method, are able to take a fort. Yeah,
dropping a lot of cooldowns here once again, but it's in the end the trade between Ancestral and Twilight Dream. The bot lane, that's where Leoric is feeding the last web weaver. Zealots, again, a bit ahead. I mean, keep in mind, this is the third game. Zealots need to win here, and so far, they're actually doing a pretty decent job. Method can still take it, they're not too far behind, but they're starting to lose a bit ground now with the second turn-in.
And 16's around the corner for both of our teams. There is a turn-in available for Method. Zealots are close to a third turn-in, I believe, for them. So they'll be able to grab that if they would like to.
Yeah, Zealots would be on the third, Method on the second, and they still have a few gems to spare. 16 as a power spike is just going to be pretty rough to beat. I mean, the wave clear that we have for the Zealots is pretty solid at this point, but it's really just the damage potential once that Gul'dan hits his power spikes and gets the quest completed on 1. He's sitting at 31 stacks right now.
And Diablo, can't forget about him.
Yeah, exactly. His domination.
There's one. Turn around, Entomb. Coming out, it's going to be on ADRD into the APOC. He'll dimensional shift it with Arthas cutting backwards. Yeah,
they're hitting Arthas with the Entomb, but Shrimpy is on ADRD. Has to zip out as Chris now starts to move in too, but there's the Horrify. Is that the opportunity that they need? Aethero doesn't get the hit on his Harmony. He didn't get the hit, and now the Force Wall blocks them in, and that's the double kill. Oh, that hurts.
Zealots cleaning up. They're giving chase here, looking for Shrimpy and Nick. Nick would be the main target for them. Mopsio, Eldruin's down into a smite. Twilight Dream will be used, but it's not enough. Curse is locked into a corner. Here's a root. Can he escape to the fort? No! Zealots getting multiple kills.
Great job here by Zealots, getting 3 kills. And a lot of it happened because as the Horrify comes in, Aethero wanted to go forward to try and slap Arthas around a little bit and push him around, bully him around here, and he didn't get close enough. He couldn't grab him. Now he falls for the second time. This is actually a massive snowball in favor of the Zealots. Right now in game number 3, Method is starting to fall apart slightly.
One saving grace, they had a Night Camp that was pushing in the middle lane, so at least that'll get a turret or two. But here we go, check out the fight here. You were talking about that engage. Aethero goes to put him against the wall, but it does not connect. Meaning Invocation gets turned around here, the body blocks are huge, 2 instantly deleted, and the rest of Method just had to run, and they could not run fast enough as Zealots track them down.
Yeah, that was just well played. That was a great job here on the side of Zealots, and that is really one of those. I mean, with that momentum that they gain right now, they have turn-in, they have the map, they take the camps, they take the Siege Giant camp, they go for the Night camp, they can complete the turn-in if they want. They're level ahead, which means they are also closing in on 20 a bit faster. So there's really a lot of things that they can do with this if they play it properly. For a moment, I was really thinking about them maybe even making a play for boss, but I think they would have been stretching it quite a bit.
Also,
they denied gems.
Just to lay it all down there, they denied gems. They also, 30 of them were lost there by Method. So, big hit for them, and now they'll have to defend a big Night Camp coming towards them in the middle of the map with 5 members helping out and web weavers.
All right, so now let's see if they can actually pull something off here. If Method can come back into this. There's always the option. I mean, there's always potential for them to start a bit of a comeback, but it's definitely not going to be made any easier by Zealots here because they are trying to go already for the first keep, or at least opening them up for later on. So that is the big idea here, the big game plan. And, well, they opened up the wall, starting to make their play. Web Weavers at the bot lane. Tracer's the only one defending right now. Again, the Force Wall getting some value here as they're trying to isolate the targets.
Nick doing everything he can here to clear out the Web Weaver. Arcaner takes a bit of a hit on the back left, so he has to escape here and he's going to go in Hearthstone, looks like. As Tracer is starting to seep on into this team fight, knowing that she may have to fight as this keep continues to get low.
Yeah, not getting it though. I mean, Ariadi could still deliver another storm, but they're not getting it. And Echoed Corruption is done. I mean, again, the last fight was not on 16. And as I said before, once that we have 16, Gul'dan is so much more dangerous. Runa's Affliction alone can be a huge damage boost. Then you have also the Echoed Corruption completed. So if at this point Gul'dan, if Nick can pop off here a bit, that could be the one thing that changes the game, especially now that Aethero on Diablo also has access to domination and can really play ping pong with these targets.
Shad using Cleanser to make sure the Zarmanians can throw it into a keep area and get slowed down. Mobzio taking a little bit of damage here, but just fine as Schwimpy gets hit. Big Horrify coming out. Zarmani gets rooted on the side. Gonna have the root too, but the Ancestral is able to save him. Isolation, the silence is not enough as Zarmani is by himself, but still alive.
Yeah, Sanctification is being used against Gul'dan. The keep falls. Here comes the Entomb though. Arcana needs to be careful since he's dropping low, but there's the Epoch. They're going for it and they're getting it. Do they get the kill? They do. Hanzo is down and now the Zealots are on the run. Shat is going to fall here. Can they kill more though? If Schwimpy can close the gap, but they don't. They just go for boss up at the top.
And Chris getting isolated and picked off is enough to break the comp of Zealots. Straight to the boss, as you mentioned. They have a boss and a turn-in available. They can push in the top lane. It's just to keep by itself. And this is where they can start to play for maybe a core. If they get a huge Entomb, which will be up in 15 seconds into a pulse bomb and get a pick, they can threaten a full kill on their opponent.
Yeah, I would also argue that the 20 on Leoric is going to make a huge difference. So if they play on eye level with their opponents around Storm Talons,
yeah,
that would be a problem as well. And here comes the turn-in. So they're going for the boss plus the turn-in. They even just delay the grab at the top just to make sure that they have this a little bit better lined up. And now they can make their play for the top, as you already said. We have Tyrael trying to push out the bot lane. That helps Zealots to make sure they only can... They have to mainly focus on the top to defend it.
Yep.
But let's see how much Method is getting out of this.
Delay also makes sure that they can get a few heroics in. Twilight Dreams up in a few seconds. We just had Horrify pop on up too. And 25, they'll have APOC as well. So Method stomping down the top lane. They have a quarter a level of experience to play with for 20 hits for Zealots. Can they get the engage they want, or are they just going to take the turrets and the keep?
Yeah, Leoric is still at the bot lane. Leoric hasn't even made his way over, so they are not even making the play for keep here.
They get the boss push forward, the Webweavers join in, but Zealot setting up for defense. And it's all about getting the 20. Method wants to go for the long play.
Yeah, they're not... I'm actually surprised that they just let the opportunity go to take the keep here. I thought they would make a play for it at least. But they are just trying to get the experience right now. They already gets a lot at the bot lane, catching every single wave since he pushes out from the left to the right, basically, all the way. And Zealots have 20, but Method should have an easy time picking it up fairly soon here. They're not going to push it too far forward, since now it's, of course, the risk of running into an engage against Zealots, but they can transition back to the top lane, catch another wave, and that should help them alone to get close enough to 20 so that they can start fighting over the next turn-in now. And they still have 46 gems.
And they'll need 14 more to get 60, and that'll be a turn-in for them. Zealots have no turn-in themselves. Remember, they developed a lot of gems throughout the entire duration of this game. They do have 37 here. But yeah, you're right. Method couldn't push in on the bottom. Too scared of a play of the game coming out into a force wall to lock down a target. Method safely grabs level 20. And now, it's all about dancing.
Yeah, so Haunt already as an ult on... or as a 20 on Gul'dan is going to make this one kill potential even scarier. Then we have Buried Alive and we have the Astral Communion. There is so much right now. There's the Entomb, they're going for it immediately. Sanctification is out, so it's on, but a massive arrow from Chris with the stuns, locking that combo down. Arcana is low, but it's Tyrael that dies first. Schwimpy delivering here, Ice Block as Tyrael explodes. Aethero jumps out barely. Leoric still falling, getting a bit of trade value for his team here, as we have a 4 versus 4, but that was a that was actually a great... There was a lot of really cool ults at perfect timings from both sides. It was a really nice combo attempt from Method that was to a large extent destroyed by the Sanctification that we had, and the back and forth between them was really fun to watch. But at this point, the Zealots are still walking away with a slight lead because everybody was low on Method's side, so they had to retreat.
Yeah, the big deal breaker there was Tracers get stuffed, being able to secure that kill on Tyrael. The instant damage just being enough for Schwimpy to make sure to secure it. Arcana will be back in a few seconds. Some gems are being dropped off. Still not enough for Method, but they have a few seconds, precious seconds, to push a little bit.
To be honest, one of the big deal breakers in this entire fight was the arrow that Chris hit. Because at that point, you had the Entomb down, Horrify came in and everything, and then the arrow hits, I think he hit 4 or 5 people. And that slowed everything down, so the major threat was negated by it. That was a beautiful arrow once again, and Chris had a couple of sick arrows last weekend already, and this is just continuing the story.
We'll save that replay. We can check it out after this game. We'll go and walk through all those heroics that are used. Turn in happening here. A Thorough making sure that he's nice and set up there. 16 dropped off. 17 needed here for a turn in for Method. Only a good 16 needed for the Zealots here. So will they be able to go drop off? They're dropping the gems off now.
And heroics are back up again. There's the turn-in attempt, and it's not getting interrupted. Ooh, too late.
Method will have to defend. Arcana goes in and takes some damage, though. He has to get out of there. 25 armor negated here thanks to Chris. Sanctification being used. Mopsio's chasing.
Yeah, and now here comes the Horrify. Mopsio used the Sanct a bit too early here. He's down. That's the problem. But Arcana falls as well, and that is the turn. 1-4-1. A Pork in the back. They're going for Chris the Ancestral. Ancestral hits Shad, is such a boss keeping him alive here. And Ethereal is in trouble and goes down. Souls lost. I thought Chris was dead. Hanzo was dead, and then Rhaegar comes in. Shad, like a beast, keeps him alive.
And Nick also falls too. Chris is still alive here. And remember, there's Web Weavers pushing in. It's only Schwimpy and a Thorough and Malfurion Curson here for defense. Can they hold against the 4 of Zealots?
Shad going absolute beast mode in that last fight. They defend the middle quite easily, but at the top there's a massive wave stacked already as the Web Weavers are moving through. Leoric is back, but we are waiting for Gul'dan, and he is the main source of wave clear on Method's side. So losing him was a huge problem. 5 deaths against 11 over here. They jump in again. They want the fight. They're going for Chris, and they get him. Chris is down.
A Thorough gets another combo on 2. It's Zarmy by himself. Swimpy can chase here. He goes for the get stuffed. He gets it, and that's 2 down Method. Turning it around. They lose a keep, but they have 4 up, and a Gul'dan will be here in 10 seconds.
I can't believe they just killed both.
The Entomb, the silence into the Diablo combo.
Yeah, the silence was amazing. Even without the Haunt, without Gul'dan, they're able to make it work. And we're going to see a backdoor attempt. There's no way these heroes are going to get the backdoor. They're trying to force them away from the boss. But with Nick being around here, there's the slow. He goes for the Haunt. And there's the retreat. Shad is going to die here. He should die. He has to die. This needs to be a dead Rhaegar. Sank comes out. Is he able to get away with a shield on Tassadar? He might be. But Schwimpy is already chasing them. And here comes the Entomb.
Silence into the Force Wall. Actually walking the Tassadar in. Oh no, Silence coming in. He could cancel it because he was silenced.
Oh my
with the
god.
combo. Zealots destroyed as Method gets the picks.
Oh, that is brutal. Bottom lane heavily pushing, by the way. And they need to do massive damage right now. Method needs to do serious damage. There is another catapult moving through the middle pretty soon, so up to the top, that's going to be key. The question is, can they end with this, or do they have to move back and get boss first?
Have 30 seconds before Rhaegar's up.
Well, if they get the Entomb,
there we go.
Don't have the cooldown, 14 seconds, 30 seconds. That is enough time. That's absolutely enough time. In 10 seconds, Entomb is back. And then they can get a kill. With Entomb, they get an easy kill. This has to be game. This has to be the move that they make.
They go straight for Chris. Trippy gets the kill. No, Chris is able to jump away, surviving for now. A Thorough is
15
low.
Seconds.
15 for Shad. Entomb comes out, but Zarmy lives.
They're a little bit indecisive here, and Chris is back right now. Well, actually, sorry, he just moved back to the... Ethereal is so low.
Oh my golly, you need to get out of here. That's going to be a deadly orc. Should be trying to get away. Curson will have the root to delay. He's demounting as much as he can. A Thorough's able to mount up. Curson cannot get caught. Okay, he's away.
They're not getting
let's hold
anything out of this. That was a pretty bad move by Method. They could have just waited with everything they had. The only thing they had to do is... Oh, nice!
Horrify.
Okay, that redeems the situation, but still, they did not get a boss, and now Diablo is dead. Diablo is dead, and he's dead for the entire duration.
Curson.
He's completely down, and that's the counter. I can't believe that Method just blew this. First, Method comes in with a stellar defense. Fantastic, gets a double kill. Then the core attempt, 3 heroes die on Zealot's side, and then Method just makes the wrong call there. But the game's not over yet. Chris is about to fall. Chris is about to die. Where's the shield? Is there a shield? There's no shield. He's down. But so is Leoric. Leoric is dead again. Shrimpy is still alive. Shrimpy is really just everywhere at this game. Shrimpy is just absolutely making play after play and kill after kill and keeping his boys in the game. This is still not over.
With Chris down, no, it's not. Shrimpy might have gotten caught here. He's going to hit the pulse bomb, tries to dash out. We'll have the recall pretty soon here, trying to buy as much time as possible. Mopsio going for the chase. Shrimpy trying to kite back. Does the recall. Can he get away? ADRD finally helps secure the kill.
But I think he bought him enough time.
Yeah, we have Diablo up in a few seconds. He'll have APOC. This is stressful, man. I'm not even playing this game, and my heart is racing.
Yeah, mine too. Dude, the only thing that they had to do at the top was wait for Entomb to come off, get the Entomb and kill the one target in the Entomb. And instead, they jumped the gun a little bit, tried to go in too early, and then blew a couple of cooldowns, got a little bit low, went on the same page, and then when the Entomb finally comes out, it's a little bit too far out, the cooldowns aren't ready, and they can't kill the target, and all of that buys enough time for the Zealots to come back. Hanzo's on his way back. It's a 4 versus 4 right now. They're going for it. APOC is in. Camp is taken. Here's the Entomb as they're going in once again. The silence being in.
Arrow!
The monster arrow from Nick. The camp is still being fought over, but Leoric is dead. This is going full Clown Fiesta. They are just dying left and right. This is insane. We have 30 kills in this game. We are 27 minutes into this.
And we have two night camps, Catapult pushing.
Everywhere.
Caldor. Things are getting hectic here. The good news for Method, it was only Leoric. He'll be back here in 30 seconds, and they do have Eternity available once they grab 3 more gems. Zealots do not.
30 kills in this game. This was a pretty normal game. And then
this happened.
5 minutes ago, all of a sudden, everybody said, like, okay, let's just brawl.
Method's going for it.
We're going to go full brawl at this point. They have the turn in. They got it.
Yep. So Method holds in here. Remember, this is for them to win the series. Zealots is trying to live by their life here, trying not to fall out of the series. Arcaner's coming up. He will have Entomb.
I can't believe this game. This game is crazy. 17 kills against 13. Level 23, nearly 24 on both sides. We are nearly 30 minutes into this game. This looked like it would be... Twice it looked as if Zealots would end the game. Then it looked twice as if Method would be able to just clean it up. Got a massive team kill. And now we have an opportunity once again for Method to finally deliver here. They have lost 2 keeps. Zealots have the last one. Method massing up in the middle, looking for the opportunity, looking for the chance. Gul'dan poking. All the cooldowns are ready. Again, Arcana coming in. Borswald comes out. Here comes the stun. Diablo goes in, the Ancestral hits, and immediately the Sanctification at the same time as we're seeing the Zealots starting trying to go for the kill against Nick. Nick is alive because the Horn Hanzo is down. Chris is dead. Somebody being attacked, and Aethero just bodies the entire front line, slapping from the left to the right and back again. Zealots barely moving out, and the Web Weaver is doing all of this on the core, on the keep, trying to deliver the damage. Zealots in a 5 versus 4 are scrambling to stay alive, but Tyrael goes down.
Aethero getting another body slam here. 2 are down, only 3 live here for Zealots. Their tournament life on the line here. Doesn't seem like they defend with Shrimpy going in, stuffing him out. Zarmy, the only member still alive for Zealots, trying to escape as ADRD is here from the Hearth, and that's going to be it as Method earns a 3-0